Good afternoon, everyone. I am Camille Rose Santiago, and I will be continuing the report of Ms. Joannes Alonsagay. Intellectual property rights, issues, and challenges. Modern information technology, particularly software, made serious difficulties for current intellectual property system. Dahil nga digital na tayo ngayon, madali nang mag-replicate, mag-transmit, mag-alter without consent of the owner. Kaya nga this has made the intellectual property protection more challenging to everyone. Here in the Philippines, meron tayong tinatawag na Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. This is the government agency mandated to administer and implement state policies on intellectual property to strengthen the protection of IP rights in the country. According to the IPO, they receive a total of 135 violation reports in the first 9 months of 2020, surpassing the 129 reports noong 2015 to 2019. So ano nga ba yung 135 violations na nai-report for the first 9 months of 2020? As you can see to the illustration, there were 51 or about 38% reported as IP infringement matters, such as unauthorized use of copyright works, followed by counterfeit complaints about 43 or 32%, and piracy at about 41 or 30%. Sa part naman ng counterfeiting and piracy, most violators were operating online, especially sa Facebook channel. Yung iba naman is sa mga shopping channels like Shopee, Lazada. So, sino nga ba yung liable or accountable when it comes to computer-related issues or problems? So, here's an example of computer or software-related problem. In the late 2013, hackers obtained credit card, debit card, and additional personal information about 70 to 110 million customers of Target, one of the largest US retailers in Target. Target's sales and reputation took an immediate hit from which it has still not completely recovered. Target says that it has to spend over 60 million to strengthen its system. In 2015, Target agreed to pay 10 million to customers and 19 million to MasterCard. It has paid an even greater price through the loss of sales and trust. So the question is, who is liable for any economic harm caused to individuals or business whose credit card were compromised? Yung Target ba yung responsible for allowing the breach to occur kahit na they did everything naman to secure the information? Or yung mga IT managers ba? Well, and so far, as computer software is part of the machine, yung producer and operator ng software can be liable for damages. On the other side naman, it is difficult to hold software producer liable. Kasi diba, software acts like books that is storing and displaying information. Historically, courts have been reluctant to hold authors, publishers, and booksellers liable for content, except sa mga instance like fraud or defamation. So, and yun, as a result, courts have been very cautious of holding software producers accountable for software. Systems quality, systems errors, and data quality. The main question here is, what level of system quality is deemed acceptable and technologically feasible? Or when we say technologically feasible, it is the ability to actually develop a product or software using current technology and resources. Sa part na to, kailan ba dapat masabi ng mga IT na tama na, we've done all we can para ma-perfect tong software na to? Software businesses work to debug their products before putting them on the market. To debug means to identify or remove errors from computer software. Especially kasi yung mga software businesses na yan is responsible for avoidable and foreseeable consequences. Kasi if there's a system error, lalaki yung expense nila and no one can afford the product. There are also three main causes of poor system performance. Number one is poor input data quality. Second is hardware breakdowns due to natural or other causes, and software flaws and mistakes. Those are the reason why it is impossible to achieve perfect software. And of course, kailangan nating ma-inform yung mga users to the possibility of failure. Equity, access, and boundaries in quality of life. Balancing power, center versus periphery. Ang point lang dito is, lower level of employees may be empowered to make minor decisions, but the key policy decisions may be as centralized as in the past. In this way, the power of information has become more centralized in the hands of few private oligopolies and large government agencies. At the same time, corporate internet goliaths such as Google, Apple, Yahoo, Amazon, and Microsoft have taken control of the gather and examination of all people's private personal information. Rapidity of change, reduce response time to competition. Information have helped to create much more efficient national and international market. Obvious naman, 'di ba, sa panahon ngayon, mabilis na talaga yung pag-move ng global natin ngayon. Today's rapid moving global marketplace has reduced the normal social buffers that permitted business many years to adjust to completion. The global marketplace is changing rapidly due to the number of forces like technology, globalization, and other forces. Pero on the other side naman, meron din naman downside tong time-based competition na to. Like if yung employer mo may not have enough time to respond sa mga global competitors, they could go out of business. And syempre, kasama na dun yung work mo. And because the rapid change of marketplace, we run the risk of developing a just-in-time society with just-in-time jobs and in-time jobs, workplace, families, and vacations. The next is maintaining boundaries, family, work, and leisure. With the development of information system and the rise of knowledge-based occupations, an increasing number of people are now working when they could have previously been playing or interacting with their friends and families. Sa panahon ngayon, kung mapapansin natin, halos lahat na tao ngayon hawak cellphone, laptops, or kung ano mang gadgets. Hindi natin namamalayan na nababawasan na pala yung oras natin sa pag-interact or socialize sa family and friends natin. Prolonged internet use keeps people away from their loved ones. Dependence and vulnerability. Today, our businesses, governments, schools, and private associations, such as churches, are incredibly dependent on information system and therefore highly vulnerable if this system fails. For example, dito sa WCC, di ba meron silang system or app kung saan doon tayo nag-enroll, nagbabayad ng tuition, doon din nag-upload ng grades yung mga professors natin. So doon parang dependence tayo masyado sa system. Ang downside naman ito sa system na to is, what if magkaroon sila ng error sa system? Hindi ma-upload yung grade or yung tuition or nag-down yung system. Something like that. The absence of standards and the criticality of some system application will probably call for demands for national standards and perhaps regulatory oversight. Computer crime and abuse. Most of types of incidents are malware, phishing, and network interruption. Computer crime is the omission of illegal acts through the use of computer or against a computer system. Simply accessing the computer system without authorization or with intent to do harm, even by accident, is now a crime. So, computer crime in the Philippines. Dito sa Pilipinas, meron din tayong mga nai-record na computer crime or cybercrime. Actually, Philippines came in the second with the most cyber attacks in the region, and Malaysia was the first with 76%. The most common cybercrime incident in the Philippines were malware and phishing. When we say malware or malicious software, it's designed to gain access or damage the computer. Most common malware is yung mga viruses na kumakalat. Then madadamage yung computer mo, makokorrupt din yung mga files sa computer. So tayo dapat be cautious sa mga attachment natin sa email or avoid natin yung mga suspicious website. And mag-install or mag-update din tayo ng mga antivirus program sa computer natin. Yung isa naman is phishing scams. Ito naman yung mga nagsasend sa iyo ng email, tapos ginagaya nila yung mga kilalang sources like banks, internet providers. For example, based on my own experience, nag-email sa akin yung bank and asking for my personal information para daw makapag-avail ako ng no annual fee kasi credit card yun eh. And then they also provided link para daw ma-redirect ako dun sa website nila. Something like that. Just for them to get my personal information. So, para hindi tayo maging victim nun, we should be vigilant, especially sa mga emails and sa mga links na i-open natin. And the Philippine Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, it focuses the prevention, and prosecution of cybercrimes. Ito yung may mga offenses against confidentiality, integrity of computer data, and computer-related offenses. Computer abuse is a commission of acts involving a computer that may be not illegal but are considered as unethical. The popularity of internet, email, and mobile phones has turned one form of computer abuse. Ito, when we say computer abuse, yun nga, hindi siya illegal pero harmful naman para sa mga tao. Spam is junk email that is sent to a large group of internet users who have not indicated any interest in the goods or services being advertised by the company or individual. Ito yung mga spammers na to, they tend to market pornography, fraudulent deals or services, or scams related. Nowadays, mas dumadami pa yung mga spams kasi magkano lang naman yung gagastusin nila just to send thousands of messages sa mga internet users kagaya natin. Kahit naman tayo, di ba? Lahat tayo naka-receive na ng spam messages. Not only through emails, but also sa mga cellphones natin in the form of SMS. Pati sa Facebook, sa newsfeed, meron na din. Spam can be stopped before it reaches the recipient's inbox by using spam filter software, which internet service providers and individuals can use to their advantages. Employment, trickle-down technology, and reengineering job loss. Reengineering work is typically hailed in the information system community as a major benefit of new information technology. It is much less frequent reported that redesigning business process could potentially cause millions of mid-level managers and clerical workers to lose their jobs. Redesigning meaning technologies such as mga robot, computerized inventory control, mga voice recognition, and others may include the business process that could lead to termination of some workers. Lalo na ngayon may mga businesses na mas prefer nila yung technology compare sa manpower. Next is equity and access. Increasing racial and social class cleavages. Information, knowledge, computer, and access to these resources through educational institutions and public libraries are inequitably distributed along ethnic and social class lines, as are many other information resources. Actually, several studies found that low-income groups are less likely to have computers or internet access. Kahit naman dito sa Pilipinas, di ba, hindi naman lahat may computer, Hindi lahat may internet sa bahay. Higher income families in each ethnic group are still more likely to have access to the internet and home computers than lower income families in the same group. Uh, in addition dito, the children of higher income families are more likely to use their internet for their educational goals. Pero yung mga lower income naman, mga bata, are more likely to use internet for entertainment lang, tsaka pang games nila. So kung magpapatuloy yung ganitong sistema, hindi matatama, magkakaroon tayo ng society na literate and skilled, and unfortunately, meron ding mga illiterate or unskilled. Health risk, RSI, CBS, and technostress. First is the RSI, repetitive stress injury, occurs when the muscle groups are forced through repetitive motion, such as working at a computer keyboard. Most common kind of computer-related RSI is carpal tunnel syndrome, in which pressure on the median nerve through the wrist bony structure produces pain. Most common to sa mga laging nagko-computer, yung nangangalay na yung part ng dito. Ang second health risk is yung computer vision syndrome. Refers to any eye strain condition related to display screen used in desktop computers, laptops, smartphones, and video games. Yung symptoms naman ito is temporary lang, like yung pananakit ng ulo, nagbablur yung vision, or nagda-dry or nai-irritate yung eyes natin. And the last health risk is technostress, which is stress induced by computer use. It is thought to be related to the high level of job turnover in the computer industry, high levels of early retirement from computer-intense occupation, and elevated levels of drug and alcohol abuse. Ito yung most recent illness associated with computers. Yung symptoms nito are yung anger, yung mabilis magalit, irritation, mabiling mairita, and fatigue. That's all for my report po. And thank you po.